Ho ho, welcome to another episode of Gym Therapy. We're over here, getting it done. Another leg day, excitement, fun times, ready to smash a session, and I've got my full Goku kit on today. I actually just did a set and then went to the sauna. I had the sauna sesh. I did one set here and then coming back inside. Where the flip are you looking, bro? What is going on? But yeah, basically, oh, there we are. I was looking at the wrong thing. Basically, did that, had a quick one just because I like the sauna. And now we're here. I did a set of the hammy curls. Hammies are a tiny bit sore actually, so I'm going to leave this from doing too much volume. We might do a low level strength thing. Tiny bit sore, I think, from all the cycling and that on the little bike. But yeah, we'll just do a quick couple reps. Okay. Whew. Hammy's feeling that. We'll do just a couple reps with 40. Just maybe 5. So we're just doing some speedy ones there. Maybe a little bit of calf work. And we will keep everything going. But yeah, today has been quite a day. I woke up a little bit later and I was consulting. It has already been a full day consulting with DeepSeek, my personal assistant, and training it just on like how I was feeling, because I got up to a little bit of like disarray. And well, one thing that I'm working through at the moment is I get really fixated on Timmy pooping. So it's like when I give it so much attention, when he poops inside, it's like when you put your attention on something, the energy goes there. And when you have resistance, attention and resistance to create that thing happening. So I spent like 15 minutes outside with him when I let them out of the room, and they peed and everything, and I knew he had to poop, but I went inside because I was brushing my teeth, and then went to just literally less than 10 seconds I was away, spitting out in the sink the toothpaste, and he went and pooped inside, and I got so mad, I like lost it. Didn't hurt him or anything. But there was a bit of like chasing him around, and it woke Yana up a little bit. So then I was really beating myself up for it before these things happen. And it was just like a bit of a mess. And then I was like, oh, it's so late. Can I actually get to the gym? You know, it was like 11 o'clock. And then by the time I left, it was 11:30, and Yana was going, like, she was like, oh, she'd planned for lunch at 12:30. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll be back by 12:30. But got here, did some cardio. That was the first thing in the morning. And man, it felt so good. It was really good. On the way here, I drove and like had the voice to text on for DeepSeek. So I just kind of like rambled, vented some of that stuff. And it was just good to get some of that stuff off my chest, as well as have some feedback on it. And some of it was like, well, let's come up with a strategy that's got compassion. And so we got a whole thing, but one of the things was like, when I finished the gym, it was go do like a bit of a breathing exercise. So it was like, just breath in for 10 minutes or so, like, not 10 minutes, but like 3 rounds of like 1 breath in, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out, hold for 4 seconds, and like six of those. 6 things, 6 reps to a set in 3 sets. And I did that. It was good. And then it gave me like one thing that you can forgive yourself for. So it was like, for example, you could say the Timmy thing. And I also felt like I couldn't really talk to Yana about it because I don't want to bother her with this stuff so much sometimes. And I know it's that kind of that creates the tension in the first place. So even working through that is good. But that was great. Like that was part of my morning get up, learn. It was like 15 minutes on the recumbent bike because I'm loving that as of late. The seated bike, or like the lying back bike. Just doing that for 15 minutes, and like my learning this morning was going like kind of just chatting with DeepSeek and being like, oh, what about this? What about this? Here are my thoughts on this, and it would give me some stuff back, and I was like, cool. So I'm very grateful to have done that. But getting here is like just that first thing, hey? Being able to forgive yourself for stuff is important because it's like, well, if you don't forgive yourself, other people's forgiveness is going to bounce straight off of you, you know? It's like God's forgiveness, my wife's forgiveness, all of that stuff is just going to bounce straight off, and it was good. So I actually managed to get to a point where by the time we went out for lunch, Yana was like, wow, you seem like you're really chill. She was like, is anything up? And I was actually like, man, I'm chill. Genuinely just went through that stuff. We went out for some hot pot today. So very grateful to have gone out for hot pot, get to go out. We just went out for some sushi. She's here actually, just doing some work here. She came out with me because she was gonna eat some of the leftover macas in the fridge, but I was like, oh, we can eat something like a little more nutritious, and then I'll go to the gym after. And she was like, I can just come to the gym with you. So pretty good deal actually. And yeah, so that's a lot of the day. I just kind of dumped a bunch of that stuff. But even at lunch, we took our time and we were doing chatting some stuff, and I was recording it, or like doing the voice to take some DeepSeek. So it's like I'm training it to be a little Yana as well, like because sometimes she says stuff that I can kind of catch and I need to transcribe and like I record in a YouTube video, but then it's like if I have to keep asking her and clarifying, it's not the best use of her time every time, because sometimes just me being like, oh, what did you say again? But having something to be able to be like, hey, what was this again? And it just pulls it up, so I don't have to go back through hours and hours of stuff. So useful. It's like you put all the data in there and do that. So finding that really useful for like sorting out and getting a good amount of stuff done every day. Yeah, so let's do this set. We'll do 180. It feels like just yesterday I was doing legs, but let's do it. I'll do this, and then I'm going to check the framing, because yesterday's was atrocious. Oh. Okay, so one realization that I had and remembered just then is like with even business stuff and Timmy stuff, it's like as you're seeking to improve, just like with the gym stuff, if you are really pushing yourself, especially in a new area, you're gonna kind of hit those failure points. Sometimes that point of failure, like just then when I hit in the set, it's not inherently a bad thing. It's actually good because you're pushing yourself, you're progressing past those limits, and a lot of the limits are in your mind. So it's like you kind of like, you never go to the full capacity that your body is capable of, because the mind limits you, the brain limits you, because otherwise you might just destroy yourself accidentally, like injure yourself, that kind of thing. So it's got this inhibition thing. So a lot of it's being able to train the body, and as the body comes up, the mind can kind of go, oh, okay, I'm capable of more now. So it's little bits of exposure, and that's why it's great to vent this stuff and talk about it, because it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I don't have to have it all figured out at once with finances, with anything really, because part of it that I had the realization for today is it's a reminder, but the success is in the journey. it's like in actually doing it, that's already the success, instead of placing it in a destination. Because even like financially, being like, once I get here, I'll feel the relief and that kind of thing. But then you're going to go for the next thing. So being able to bring that to now, like be that now, and be like, and this journey, the struggles, whatever you're feeling, that's good. That's like, you're supposed to feel this, it's part of it. And bring that to now, like allows that stuff to come in to you much more. And that's what we've always done. And I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. I'm really in tune with that. Got a little bit out of tune with it towards dinner time, but feeling real good. Happy to be at the gym. Little drop set, superset, not really superset. 160. Oh. Okay. Yeah. And even if you don't leave everything, every session out there, it's good because it leaves you kind of wanting more. Like I've been finding with the bike, I like don't completely exhaust myself every session. So I'm like, I can't wait to come back and do it again tomorrow. Like I was so excited, I got more in the tank, but I'm still pushing myself and getting the what I call the baseline gains in every day. So it's important to do that and give yourself that grace as well. Be like, yeah, this is all part of it. We're progressing, learning a bunch of stuff, and it's all happening. Like a lot of it is having that faith, but it's like, it's even just knowing that it's coming. Like all of the money that you need has always been provided anyway. Money's not real. And I say that as someone who has had and has a bunch of it, but then it's like, there's more coming. Like there's always more coming. You're always provided for by God, and allowing yourself to be provided for by God. Like we talked about last time, instead of doing it through that tiny spectrum, like God, you have to do it this way, or it has to come to me this way, universe, if you want to call it that, but it's definitely God. Here, it has to be this way, but then you close off all the other ways you could receive God's abundance for the most part. So it's just being able to be like, okay, whatever it is, and I trust it, that I'll get what I need. And trusting it isn't necessarily being like, oh, I trust it, but it's not here yet. It's just being like, it is so. Bringing that future to now and being like, yep, it is so. I'll do whatever I need to do coming from that place. Beautiful. And I realized that's the thing with business. It's like, of course you can do stuff to get seen and out there, but for example, Yana's like, was going to see, is looking up a kinesiologist that she wants to go and see, but she literally can't find the person online. And the funny thing is, I know a lot of businesses that were like that were like, oh, they kind of just were there and you don't really know about them, and they just get business over time and people just come and see them. It might be like the storefront itself, or just around at the gym, like PTs get business and that kind of thing. Obviously, I think that there is a degree of proactivity and having, like, being willing to put yourself out there, which is like you being going to your full potential. So it's like the action still follows that like state of being and just trust and faith that it's happening. Because like begets like, especially if you want like higher quality clients or customers, is like if you're being proactive with that stuff and you're being high quality, your actions are of a high quality, and like you as a person are like living to your fullest potential, you get more people like that, and that just creates better business for everyone involved, and it's a good old time, so yeah. Forgot where was I going with that. It's just the way to be honest with you. Yeah, so that's a lot of what I'm trusting, or I just know is happening right now with all the things. And so yeah, a lot of the cool stuff we've been talking about today with DeepSeek was that is like the linking the martial arts to business and that kind of thing. Martial arts to business, so the offer, like kind of what I do right now is like the martial arts side of things, and the physical coaching and all that links up to the business offers. And we're going through better ways of saying all this stuff, but with the martial arts stuff, it links in because of the philosophical aspect of martial arts. So for me, I'm calling in deeper thinkers like myself that want to live to their fullest potential, want to do martial arts to their fullest potential, but also want to live life to their fullest potential as well, you know? Like people that are interested in building their life around what they're passionate about. So if it's more martial arts, if it's building your livelihood through martial arts and that, but then also having the options to like have your other investments and know how to do that stuff, have the mind for that, so that you can make whatever strategy work and you can obtain the right strategies, get the right people around you, and then it's like, it's not a job per se, it's like, well, it's still like a job in the aspect that you show up and do it, but it's like there's not as much pressure on it, you know? It's like, it's not like you have to do it or you're forced to do it. It's like, oh yeah, that's right, I get to do this. Because especially when you get to a certain point in business, it can start to feel like I'm kind of forced to do this, but that's where you got to be smart about it. Keep going, keep building when you've seen the success, and keep building team, keep just building everything up. So yeah, those are the kind of folks that I'm calling in with my content and my focus, and knowing that I've been honing the message more and more. It's like you're always constantly refining it, and then keep consistent, and you just it goes off, you know, in its own way. Yeah. Previously, I'd gotten a little obsessed with some of the numbers, like the engagement, the number of followers, and that. But I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's not about that, just that. Like I've done this and made lots of money with like 200 followers and that kind of thing on Instagram. So it's good to remember, like, focus on what matters, you know, and that is a metric to take into account. But sometimes if you get too caught up in it and everything's focused on that, then you don't actually end up helping people necessarily as much as you could, and then your business suffers, and obviously that means you really don't help people as much as you could. Because it's like you want someone you can trust leading you in that sense. Let's try just a little cheeky 190 on this. Do a little pray in and do this. All right. Oh, almost started leg pressing. I was thinking about the next movement already. Knee was going funny there. Ooh, goodness me. All right, I'm gonna drop it back to 160 and just get a couple more out there. Literally a couple for that one. I'm sweating, bro. This is good though. I was sweating bullets at Hot Pot as well, because we went to one of the ones today that's like hotter, Hot Pot. So good. Keeping it moving, keeping it grooving. Whee! We're gonna go over to that isolateral plate loaded leg press. And yeah. Overall, just good times, man. I'm keen, and I'm absolutely loving life, man. It's like everything gets so centered when I come to the gym. Such a good, happy place to be. So good vibes at a gym are really important for me. Otherwise, I get a little like upset being at the gym that I'm at. I wonder if there's a better place to film this from where you can see more of like my legs and that. I wonder, would this be any good? Yeah, you might be able to see a little bit there. See a little bit? Yeah. We'll go with that. See how it looks. See how well it works. Put that little thing there. Alright. And we'll just prime with a couple reps of the, this one. The 20s. Oh no, I did 25s last time. So we'll get that on. I just, for the first time, watched the video real quick before I came here to be like, well, what did I lift last time? Good way of tracking, because I knew I was going to do this one today. And yeah, I love it, man. I love this stuff, bro. So we're doing a bunch of cool stuff, but yeah, I really because I was feeling it a little bit, some of the stuff before getting here today. But to be able to get in and just focus on this stuff, such a blessing, bro. Such a blessing. Oh, we're getting deep, bro. Oh my goodness. I'm all the way in here. Ooh, 1. Couple there. Oh my goodness, that's deep, bro. That is deep. Very glute focused on those, which is lovely. I'll tell you what, I'm actually gonna take a whiz, which I rarely do during these, so I'm gonna start this again. Yeah, so that angle was cheeks. I reviewed the footage and was like, that is absolutely atrocious, no good. But yeah, we got it now. So, something I was thinking as well is, especially when you're doing a lot of this mindset stuff, it'll be to your detriment to think about it too much. Or when you're being more cerebral and intentional, it's like if you're sparring and you're like, is it working? Is it working? Oh, I'm focusing so hard on this, you get hit by other stuff. So I was like, why is it that, because it sparked from the thought of me going like, wow, just every time I come to the gym, it's almost inexplicable. I'm just like, it's just so good. And I just feel so much better and things flow. And it's just, things happen. Like, basically you're allowing stuff to happen, because what you're doing is, we do the intentional work to develop ourselves, mind-wise and that. And that's the basis, the core of a lot of the stuff, what it all comes back to. But then there has to be that element as well of letting go. Like, so you do the intentional focused work, but then you also got to learn to let it go. That's another skill. And that's why your mind and best works when you're often doing something else, like when you're weight training or you're doing some cardio or you're on a walk or hanging out, enjoying time with friends. Your mind can, because it's not so focused on just the one thing, it can only do that for so long. And obviously that's a muscle that you can train. The idea of that is like, that's a muscle that you can train. But it does a lot of its best work when you're away from it as well. It needs little breaks and that kind of thing. So it's a real blessing to be able to do that and like come to the gym. And that's why I realized like, I'm so happy whenever I come to the gym. And a lot of that is the association. Like, oh, I love coming to the gym. But a lot of it's just moving and like freeing my mind up, because this is my focus whilst I'm doing it. Something might pop into my mind real quick whilst I am training, but this is my focus when I'm here, and it's really, really great. So I'm just very grateful. Wanted to share that. And as I went to the toilet, I had that thought. I was like, man, why am I so happy whenever I'm at the gym? Or like, why is the rest of the day, like the next block of the day, always so good when I get to the gym? Because sometimes you have those lulls in the day anyway. And that's where the gym can come in, and you're like, wow. You just get the most out of the day. You get more energy from doing stuff like this because it's a little break and it's productive and good for you. And alongside that, you're training your capacity and your proficiency with the other things, so that with like skills, like if you're going and doing some business activities like DMing or like making content or something, you get more proficient throughout the day. And each time, that's the compounding effect. Just like with weight training, the strength is a skill because it's neuromuscular. It's your body adapting to it and being like, I can handle this, alongside the physical growth that allows it to continue to do more and more and more. It's like you get more coordinated. That means you can get more out of each set, which is why my volume is pretty low right now, because I'm obviously not bodybuilding either. But you can do pretty low volumes and get a lot out of it. When you're more efficient. Whereas at the start, because your body's not as efficient, it's like wobbling everywhere whilst you're trying to bench and that, you might need a little bit more volume because it just needs that time, that ability to gain that proficiency there, which is a really important factor. That as you go on, you develop more proficiency so you can get more out of doing less, and then if you so choose, like with business, you can do more as well. And I don't think the threshold for the point of diminishing returns is as abrupt as like weight training. Your body can tolerate lots of volume and that, if you enjoy it. But yeah, it's like in business, you can do a lot of volume, or you can not, you know? And that's where like getting A players around you comes in, like being able to build a team of like people who specialize in things, because if that's their full-time job, say it was like making content, if you've only got, like, you have to split your hats throughout the day of like business owner, I do this, I do this, I do this. If you've got someone full-time job, they're making content, depending on how many, like 8 to 12 hours a day, they're going to just be able to make way more and be way better at it than you. And it's about getting a business to those points when you've got to wear the hats, unless you have the funds to be able to do that otherwise. And then being able to do it that there and outsource, build a team really is what you're looking to do when you're outsourcing. So treating it that way, big factor. Let's do this set, shall we? Someone on my TikTok live today said bro's the world's best yapper or something like that, and I was like, yeah bro, I went live before this, I've been chatting all day basically, and I love it, bro. Love chatting, love yapping, as they say. Oh, this little backrest thing is weird. That's okay. Alright, let's get deep on some of this. Gosh, how deep can it go? Actually, it might be diminishing returns there for me, because it's not more glute focused necessarily, and I can get a little bit more range as I come back, because this will swing back a bit further. Yeah, cool. Alrighty, roll. Let's get it. It's for Jesus. Get those glutes, baby. Couple more. Here we got it. We got it. We got it. Gosh, that was good, man. Oh, I enjoyed that. Time to take a bit of a rest, and then do some adductor stuff after this. That's one thing that I forgot on the way in that I was gonna do. That was great, man. Really enjoyed that. See, straight to yapping. Absolutely love it though. So good. What a blessing to be able to experience this life. And man, all of it's in your mind. I was talking about this on TikTok the other day, or today, sorry, about how I literally broke my hand a few days ago, but then and it was like swollen and starting to get bruised. I'm like, okay, I've seen this before. But then I was able to go like, okay, nope, I have control of this with my mind. This is a whole nother thing, but you switch your reality, and then it's fine now. Absolutely fine. My hand, knuckle, all good. But that was like right on the way to, I looked at it because I've broken my hands before and seen other people having broken their hands, like Jed, when he broke his hand, it looked the exact same, and it was starting to head that way, and it's like, nah. But the way I see it is that, I was talking to Yana about this today, similar to when a baby, everyone freaks out around a baby being like, oh, you hit your head or something, then the baby's like, oh, that energy and feeding into that attention makes it so. So I've seen guys at the gym. One example I was thinking of was he injured his ankle, and everyone was like, oh no, okay, this, and they were carrying him off the mat and put ice on it, and it was a real bad thing. And in my mind I was like, well, it's only going to be sprained really badly if you choose for it to be. And he kind of went with what everyone else was saying. I was like, okay, I'm not going to force you to try and do this right now, because you can't really force anyone to do it anyway. But I know I've done that before, with my ankle, and been like, it's fine, I'll just use it accordingly and go from there. and like it's fine, literally fine within a couple of hours or something, versus he had like 6 weeks off or something like that, and it was like a real bad sprain and that. And this is coming from someone who's done that before. So it's like being able to see that and be like, oh yeah, the mind is that powerful. Pretty cool, because Yana, an example from her childhood is she was climbing a fence with some neighborhood friends back when she lived in like a little country town called Kitani, and they fell down this fence that they were climbing, the sharp fence, and like both her friends, they split their hands open from it, and Yana just didn't, because in her mind she wasn't allowed to get in trouble. But you could say, oh, it's coincidence. One, no such thing as coincidence, no accidents. God doesn't make mistakes. But it's when you see stuff like that happen over and over and over again, even the miracle of life, and that you're like, okay, there's definitely something to this. So it's great. Great to be able to be like, oh wow, that's the power of it. And even with money in that, that's what we've done with our businesses. It's like when people are like, oh no, maybe it doesn't work, you should be more conservative. It's like, whatever you say, man, like, cool, we're just gonna not talk to you about it, and we've got our thing going, and then it happens accordingly. Sometimes you can get in your own head, but that's the power of the mind, bro. It's like the mind can be your greatest weapon, or the greatest prison, or your greatest asset, rather, as opposed to weapon. Because a weapon, an asset can be a weapon, but yeah, your mind is either your greatest asset or your greatest prison, because yeah, and sometimes it's like wealth-wise, you won't accumulate more stuff if you're not ready for it, because it's like it could destroy you with the mind that you have now. Like I've talked about it before, maybe not on YouTube, but we know a billionaire that is a literal billionaire, and like won't let his wife stop working, and she hates her job as a teacher, and she just like is like, I really want to quit, but he was like, you can't in case we lose all of our money. He's a billionaire, bro, and he's got all the skills in that, but he's miserable, he's stressed sometimes. He's talked about like he thinks of sometimes just ending it, because it's like it's just so much stress all the time. And it's like when you have that mindset of like, when you're like that and you get so much, you only see like how much you can lose, instead of like, oh wow, I can appreciate all that I have, you know. And I haven't talked to the guy at all, but it is one of those things where you're in a prison of your own mind. So it's being able to slow down and go over that stuff. It's a journey, man. It's a journey, and that's why I can see that I'm very blessed that I haven't because I didn't realize I had all this stuff. So now that I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, okay, so I've got all this stuff. Just as well I didn't become a billionaire overnight, you know? It would be not great for me to handle it that way. So I'm grateful that it's like happening exactly, and it always does, as God says for it to happen. So pretty good. We're at the gym a little bit later than usual. Literally 7:40 p.m., 7:45. Got a start at the gym, and it's now probably like almost 8:30. Normally in at 5:30, but one of the things that I was getting a bit stressed about before coming here was like, oh, I'm late to the gym. Seeing it that way, instead of being like, I'm exactly on time, I'm exactly where I need to be. And being able to forgive myself for that was a big thing that I did before coming here. And I just feel phenomenal now. So great. It's like you can take on the world, you know. So it's a real privilege to be able to be here. And be able to talk this stuff through and share it with you guys. Brother. So good, bro. So good. So a lot of that stuff with relation to money. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I want this thing, but they can't really get it because of all those things, because it would destroy them, you know? And something that I heard articulated this way, sometimes it feels very close to like focusing on what you want, but a lot of the time we focus on the lack of what we want, like how the fact that we don't have it right now, and we get so focused on the present, like what's directly in front of us, like I've talked about with the putting yourself first with the gym and that kind of thing. Like, we focus on what's in front of us, what we can see, because we're so used to just perceiving things through those senses that sometimes we forget that we exist as more than that. Like, we are beings that are more than that. We have a spirit, we have a mind as well that perceives all of those things and interprets that information. It's really good to be able to get a handle on that stuff, and for us to be able to see all the cool stuff that we get to do. Yeah. Yeah, it all happens exactly as it needs to. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot the point that I was going for just then, why I started. So hopefully that wrapped up and was concise, had some point to it. If not, we'll continue that another time. If not, let me know if I didn't wrap that up. But yeah, just the rest of it escaped me, so I'm like, I guess that was all I was meant to say for now. Oh yeah, sometimes we get so consumed by what's directly in front of us that we don't realize that there's more, and that we can, it's like you don't experience life, you experience the life you focus on. I've been using that one a lot from Tony Robbins. So true. It's just what you focus on, and sometimes if you focus on the lack of what you don't have, what you don't have and the lack of the thing that you're wanting, we can confuse that for like focusing on the thing that we want, but as a result, they create two very different realities. One where you're focusing on the thing that you want, you're called for, you truly want, you know it's coming, that gets that thing. But when you focus on the lack of it, you create more lack. Like begets like. Lack creates more lack. Poor creates more poor. Rich creates more rich. Abundance creates more abundance, or gives leeway to more abundance, you know? Yeah. So that was the point that I was going on. That's pretty fun. These are kind of like podcasts that I do, I realized. Obviously with the gym music and that going on sometimes. Yeah, I love it. Probably time to get this set. I looked at one of my rests yesterday, it was like 16 minutes. I was like, or maybe 14 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, a bit long. Alrighty. Very exciting. And we're doing some cool stuff tomorrow for filming, YLC filming day. And just cool stuff all around. Alright, let's get this baby. A little heavier. Let go. Let's go. Easy. Lightweight. All day. I was made for this. Yes, sir. One more. Ooh, that was good. Perfect weight. Don't even need to do another set or anything. That was beautiful. Really enjoyed that. 10 out of 10. Oh, man, really love being at the gym, hey? So good. I've been saying that a lot today, but I'm just wanting to express how much gratitude I have for even being able to move, be alive today, to be able to wake up and just do whatever you want. I was saying this yesterday when we went and got ice cream after Yana's birthday dinner, which was really good, by the way. Really good day yesterday. It was her birthday, so yeah. had so much fun, organized all the balloons and that, the pillows, all that stuff, and she loved it all. So I'm really happy with that. And then we went out to a restaurant, Honto, in like Fortitude Valley. Such a good meal, good experience. Where did I put these? Where's the Universal? Let's put them near the car, on the calf raise then, hey? Or maybe on the leg press. Yeah, honestly, such a good experience going out and doing that. But we went out and got some ice cream afterwards, and I was just marveling at, like, it just hits me sometimes, you know, like, wow, I'm an adult organizing all this stuff. Like, didn't have anyone's permission or anything. I just organized the dinner on my phone last night or the night before. We went, we had a great dinner, go get ice cream, drive us there and all that. You're like, whoa, I got 2 dogs I look after, we got 2 houses. And it's like, dude, what in the world? Make an impact on people's lives, make this kind of content. It's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. We're actually adults in that, you know? It just hits you sometimes, you know? Sometimes when I look at, like, our fridge, like, just the very fact that we've got a fridge, I'm like, wow, this is something that, like, there's, like, my parents, you know? My parents have a fridge. And then you're like, wow, literally we used our money and got this fridge. Or we got this house. And we do this, and we've got this gym membership. It's just all this stuff that you're like, wow, is that really, like, I get to do all this stuff, you know? Such a blessing, man. Such a beautiful, beautiful blessing to be able to do this stuff, to receive that gift of choice and to operate in that love and that, and the enjoyment of life. To have a wife, to be married, bro, and to be doing this whole life is really something special, man. It's really an absolute privilege to get to live this life. And yeah, just to have all these responsibilities as well is a privilege. Like, when I was thinking about the other day, when I was like, man, some of this stuff is stressful, we're sorting out rent stuff and that. It's like, obviously not as stressful as other things, like dire things, but it's like when you care about it, it's going to be a little stressful, you know? It just shows, like, the level in which you care about that stuff. But it's like, that stress can be really good and, like, build you up when you're like, wow, this is good for me. This is a privilege to experience this pressure. Pressure is a privilege. As, like, I heard it from C-Bum. I think he came up with it. As much as anyone comes up with anything. But yeah, that pressure is a privilege is really true. And when you choose to see it that way, it really is like, wow, so good. Even when we were going to the gym yesterday, I think I said this in the thing, and she was like, life is so good. And I was like, yeah, you know what? She's doing so well, business is all good and this and that, because she doesn't have to worry about the rent, this, that, the other. It's like, wow, I'm really taking care of all this stuff for her and with her. Even today, whilst we were carrying the groceries, I was like carrying it all myself, and then she was like, I'll take some of it. I was like, no, it's okay. And she took it, and I just realized, like, whoa, it's actually really nice to have someone share the load in that as well. And I was like, wow, that's right, I don't have to carry all this stuff on my own, because I was going to drop some of it, you know? I did drop some of the stuff at the end, actually. But yeah, it's just like, what a privilege. I got 2 dogs that love me, and like, I'm constantly faced with new challenges every day to be able to grow more and more and more, like, or even new depths of the current challenges, the current endeavors that I'm involved in. And it's honestly just, what a privilege to be alive and to get to do these things. And sometimes I forget that that's the point. Like, this is the joy of life, to be able to experience this stuff and go for it and go through it and get better because of it, not in spite of any of it. Man, just so blessed. Even looking over there, my wife is there on her Mac that we bought together. Either that or that's the money Mac, and maybe that one was bought through my business, and like we can buy things through her business. We might be getting a new camera through her business we were talking about. And I'm just, what a blessing, bro. What a blessing. I'm so happy to be living this life, man. And to be doing it now in a way where it's like I'm actually feeling all of the lows, or like the stress in that, and just being like, it's okay to feel this way. I'm actually able to experience so much more joy right now. Yeah, I feel I'm like kind of almost like floating right now is how it feels. So blessed, bro. And just to be able to share that with everyone and to remember that it all comes from that place, get to share from this place of joy. This makes me want to create so much more content, because I'm not doing it to be like, what can I get out of people? Like, what is the best that I can put out there? And I know that people will come in as a result of it, because I'm able to help them more through that. Man, just what a blessing, bro. What a beautiful, beautiful life that we get to live. And to be able to be grateful for it and enjoy the journey just begets more of that. Man, special, special times. All right, let's see if I can do the 50 on this. I didn't pray yet. I'm gonna pray like this. Okay, I can do it. Yeah. Oh, come on. Come on. Woo. So good. And even what a privilege it is to be able to come in here and push myself. To wake up this morning is a privilege. And this morning I was laying in bed and I was telling DeepSeek about this. But I think there was a bit of resistance because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to feel a certain way when I woke up, like feeling bliss. And then I was like, oh, I gotta get all this done today. And it's like your body kind of shuts down from it. At least mine does. And I kind of woke up at 8 a.m. and fell back asleep. Like, it's like your body just physically can't stay awake. Some of it might be some of the fancier food that we had last night, body not being used to that. But then I did roll over at about 10 a.m. and I hugged Yana in amongst all, because I got her a bunch of pillows and she was really happy with that. I held her and I was like, man, I'm in heaven. Literally, I'm in heaven was what went through my mind. And then I fell back asleep and I woke up feeling really good and that. And it was just like, man, to be able to do that, to be able to live this life is good. Yeah. And I'm so excited for more of it. So excited. Honestly, up until this point, I'd been living as like, well, the whole shtick is going to be up soon. Like, it's all going to wrap up. Like, it's going to fall apart soon. And I wrote about this thing today. It's like, instead of waiting for it all to fall apart, waiting for finance to fall apart, waiting for the next failure to happen. Because even if it doesn't happen, it's a miserable experience during it. Like, so what kind of life is that if you're trapped in this prison of your mind? And if it does happen, you're like, oh, there's a safety element to that because you're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen, blah, blah, blah. It's like if you call it first and you're like, oh, I knew I was going to fail, then there's comfort and safety in that. It's like a little workaround for fear of failure that a lot of us have. So for me, I recognized that was what I was doing before. And now, instead of focusing on that, I'm focusing on what if it all goes right, and to new depths, like, because I already know that, but just being able to be in the thick of it with like finance stuff and that, and be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna keep going with this stuff. I'm really gonna go for it. I'm gonna continue to go for it, and it's already happening. So to be able to focus on that to a new depth, it's like you have to be in the situation to actually have the growth, and like you only get so many opportunities to be exposed to that stuff before life's over, or before that gets passed on to someone else. So even like myself with Timmy, and his training and some of his behavior stuff is like, it's good. You need to be in the situation to actually improve. You don't improve like away from that situation, you know. But that's like when it's hardest and when you least want to be like, oh, I'll take a second and go through this and, you know, get into flow state. But that's when it matters. That's when it really counts. So yeah, I think it's been a few minutes. I'm kind of elated right now, so I'm not too sure how long it's been. I'm so excited to get home and plan some stuff out and just see where the day takes me. I talked today with DeepSeek about, I was like, oh, my schedule, sometimes I'm like, I feel bad that I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. And it was just a good reminder. It reminded me that like the movement and your natural rhythm is the thing that drives the success, not the schedule, not the 5 a.m. wake up, oh, did I get everything done that I need to? Because I had this association with like a successful period of time in my life where I was always waking up at 5 a.m. and very structured, but I've also had periods of time in my life where it wasn't that structured like that. I went more with the rhythm and I was actually able to make more and do more and have more freedom. So I got a taste for that, but then I thought that I had to go back to square one kind of thing, instead of being like, well, what worked? What elements of it worked? And then how do I lead with that and go more and more and more? Yeah, so it's pretty cool, pretty fun, and then from there I end up creating a little schedule that I'll fall into, but it kind of comes from that place. So yeah, right now we've got a lot of that with the gym, and gonna start up at that martial arts gym as well. So yeah, let's get this set. I'll pray first. Amen. Let's get it. Can I go a little wider? I think I'm gonna break myself if I go this wide, but I can probably do it. Oh, it is in. It's in. All right, that's pretty wide. Let's get straight to it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Almost didn't touch. Okay, that's good. Oh my. What a privilege. What a privilege this life is, baby. So I'm gonna wipe this stuff up. And get out of here. That's all for this episode of Gym Therapy. Thank you guys for joining. Really blessed to be able to do what we do. Love life. And I know that I'll be back here tomorrow in the gym. Well, yeah. Oh, that's one of the things as well. It's like when you know something's going to happen, so this is why sometimes it can be to your detriment to like think too much when you do the whole, well, I've not really expanded on too much, but when you do the whole reality creation thing, it's like you set this thing that you know is going to happen, that you know that you truly want, God's put on your heart, and you're like, okay, I know that this is happening, rather. But then if you're always thinking about it, it's like, it means that it's not fully integrated, so you've got to learn to let it go as well and do other things. That's where your mind can do its best work and allow those things to be created, because you don't go to sleep every night like, is this sun going to come up? Is this sun going to come up? It's just a given, and that's how you know that that's happening. And like you take your next breath. You're not like, am I going to take my next breath? Am I going to take my next breath? In dire circumstances you might, but it's like you really are able to trust it and know that it's happening. And that's where the most natural stuff happens. And it's like we can make business, making money, all these things, martial arts, all this stuff, as natural as breathing. As natural as breathing. So when you do that, it's being able to understand that and just embrace it and love it. And you're like, wow, it can be that easy, and being okay with it being that easy is a real blessing. Just like how we wake up every morning. So blessed. Love you guys. God bless. Remember, this is all the art of being man. Embody that and it'll be all gravy, baby. Bye.